White Tigerzord, what the hell are you doing?
Making kitty angels?
You know there's a blizzard going on, right?
But
Come on, get inside. We got a review to do. Hey guys, welcome to Super Important Reviews. My name's Steve, and in this video, I'll be going over the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Legacy White Tigerzord. This guy is a Toys R Us exclusive, so if you guys are really interested in the figure, really recommend going to find it at one of the stores, or eventually it'll probably show up online at some other places if you guys need to. Like Big Bad Toy Store already has pre-orders up for this guy as well. But do recommend actually going to the store because it'll save you a little bit of money doing it that way. And also, if you guys are really excited about the Power Ranger figures that are going to be coming out, I do have some of the other White Ranger props that I'll be doing videos of in the near future, so you guys should subscribe if you guys are interested in those videos, just so you guys can keep up to date when I put those out. Been really excited about this figure ever since it was spoiled because I really love the White Ranger, and I actually own the original White Tigerzord, so I'm actually pretty excited to get this guy out to compare him to that. Because in the Dragonzord video, I didn't actually have a way of showing you guys the differences between the two, but now I do. So can't wait to get this guy out of his packaging, so without further ado, for the packaging, really love the display they got going on front, very reminiscent of the original, which, actually, hold on a sec. I actually own the original White Tigerzord box, which you'll see here is definitely larger because it came with a lot more stuff with the packaging with the awesome White Ranger figure, and the figure is actually a little bit larger, which we'll get into in a second. But still cool that the new one kind of brings back that retro kind of vibe, and overall is the same coloring between the old one and the new one. And even the Tigerzord is pretty much in the same pose, so that's really sweet. Really love the gold lettering here, which gives this package a little bit more of a display factor than the original one had. Even though this box is freaking ginormous, this one just looks a little bit prettier to me overall. On the side of the packaging, gives you a nice image of the White Ranger, and on the other side, shows you that you can combine the new Tigerzord with the old Dino Megazord. And it's supposed to create this kind of hybrid between the Thunder and the original, so we'll get into that in a few. Also gives you some of his stats down here if you guys want to read it real quick. On the back of the packaging, shows you the figure in the package in its robot form and alt mode. Also has the metallic paint, die-cast parts, and on the bottom here tells you the story of the White Ranger if you guys want to read it real quick. Alright, we good? And that's pretty much it. If you guys want to check out the top and the bottom real quick, not too much going on. Let's get him open up out of his cardboard prison. So here he is in tiger form, which looks awesome. Really love the overall shape and design of this guy, which is very reminiscent of the actual TV show, where he has a lot of this white plastic here, which gives him a nice clean look. Which also on the face here too, there's a lot of paint here for the white, which is pretty sweet. Which they did a really good job of hiding it, because you can see here where the only reason I really noticed that it was painted on is right here. You'll notice that it's kind of going off on the little metallic silver here of the rest of the faceplate here. But it still looks really good. Really love the metallic that they got going on the eyes here. You'll see some black. Which one thing that you would think is that this would be like a sticker or a decal on the inside here, but this is all painted here. There's literally no decals on this entire figure. Everything you see has been painted by hand, which looks amazing. Really gives this figure just a next level kind of appearance for it. Something that the original didn't really have. Even though the original is a nice figure, it's just the color, like just the overall amount of craftsmanship on this figure is just amazing. Like you can see here for the head, very reminiscent of the show. Even has the little orb in the inside of the mouth here. You'll see underneath here, there's even some vent work in the mouth here. So even details on the top part of here. So again, no expenses spared on this figure. Just making a little Jurassic Park reference, but one thing that does bug me a little bit is on the top part here, I kind of wish they maybe would have been able to hide the head here a little bit better. It's not horrible because it's something that the original figure had, and this is really just more of an updated version of that figure. So it's understandable that it's going to have something like this. It's just, might have been nicer to maybe have something that could have covered it up a little bit more. But it isn't bad, especially with the gold crest here. It looks really good for the overall head sculpt. And then for his body here, you'll see a lot of the gloss black here on the shoulder pads here with the metallic red here, which also conveys really nicely here on the shoulders here. And one thing that kind of sucks on mine is you'll see here there's some metallic red paint, but over here there's a little bit of bubbling on the inside of it, which is a little bit of a bummer, but it's not too distracting. The same, you got the orbs here, which are metallic, which on the original one, they're actually plastic orbs, and I totally love that they went with this. But we'll go over that in a few seconds when I get the other figure out. And seeing for his little paws here, look really awesome. And you'll see right here, there's the hands for the Zord here, which isn't too distracting. Like when you have the paws down, it blends in pretty well with it. It's not too distracting. And then also this part right here is die cast, which actually going over the rest of this too for the die cast parts. There's some right here on the base of the neck. Right here for the connection piece, this is also die cast. There's a piece on the inside of the leg here, which I'll actually pop out real quick. Right here's die cast. And then on the back part of the feet here for the paws are also die cast, which is really nice. It kind of gives the figure a little bit more of a higher quality factor to it. And then for the back legs here, also look really nice. Really tiny. It's just how massive the front paws are in comparison to the back ones. It's just a little weird. Still looks sweet, but it's just kind of something from the 90s show that just kind of really doesn't translate as well as it used to. But it still looks really nice on the figure. And then same for his little sword tail here. Can move up and down a little bit. Doesn't really stay because it's literally just the sword just goes right into that back joint and I can just pop it right out. So it's not really much articulation there, which is a little bit of a bummer. And then for this part too, it's actually a more softer plastic or kind of like a hard rubber, which is an odd choice because a lot of the other figures are pretty much just have hard plastic, which I would have preferred a little bit more just because this one, especially coming out of the package, I got it to unwarp a little bit, but it was like, used to look like this, so that was a bit of a bummer when I initially got that out of the box. But it still looks really nice. Still has a decent amount of details on here, especially you got the metallic red here too. And overall in the entire figure, there isn't really anything I really got major to complain about in terms of just design and paint apps. Just really, that's the only noticeable little blemish on the entire figure. And then for his articulation, his mouth can move up and down. The legs can move pretty much all the way around. And what you'll notice here too is that the arms can move a little bit in and out, which looks a lot better in Zord form, but he has the option to do it in this form as well. You also have a bend here at the elbow area, which is really sweet. This moves right here, so it gives you a little bit more play with the posability of the paws. And then back here, the legs can move forward and back, and also the paws can move back and forth too. So overall, it has it's impressive amount of articulation, especially compared to the original, which actually I'll get him out right now just so you guys can see these guys next to each other. So here's the original White Tigerzord compared next to the new Legacy Tigerzord, which you'll see here, the original is definitely the larger of the two, because this is a very, very bulky figure, which is something I really loved about it, because personally for me, I really love giant action figures. But this one overall, in terms of just look, is definitely the cleaner of the two. Just because of, it doesn't have any of this decals here, which especially on mine, a few of them are starting to come off a little bit here. And especially with the die-cast parts here instead of the chrome plastic here, definitely is a cleaner look between the two. And also, especially since everything's molded in here, like right here where these look great, these on him are actually attachments, which are made of these clear plastic. Which on him is a chore to have to do anything with this figure because a lot of these tend to pop out when I'm trying to move this thing around because they're really loose on this guy. So again, really love what they did here with this figure. And especially with the articulation, like you'll notice here, he has a bend at the elbow like we went over, and it helps to give him a little bit more dynamic posing on your shelf. Well, this guy only stands like this because the back legs, no articulation. Him, they actually can move forward and back a little bit. And here, he actually has a bend at the elbow, but it goes in the opposite direction. So yeah, can't really do anything that's gonna look remotely good on this guy. So it's pretty much, you're kind of stuck with this posing here. But the one thing that the original definitely has over the new Legacy version is that up here, you'll notice that there's a couple of buttons on this guy, which when you push them in, he has light up effects. And why does this figure, especially if it's supposed to translate pretty well, especially with they decided to keep the heads kind of sticking out of the top here, like, they really can't give me any light up effects for these guys. Like, this would have been fantastic on this figure and really would have made it a much more upstanding figure than it already is. So that's really the main thing that the original has going over this guy from this point forward, which I still love this figure, but this thing's just, oh man. And here is compared next to the Legacy's Dino Megazord. And here is compared next to the Legacy's Dragonzord. And here he is with the Legacy Titanus. And here is with the original Red Dragon Thunderzord. And now we have the White Tigerzord in warrior form. First to go over his accessory, which is his tail, which when you pop it out turns into a saber, which overall doesn't look too bad. I really would have preferred this to have been some kind of hard plastic because as it stands, it's just this kind of soft rubber that they have going on here. Which, on a positive note, you don't really have to worry about this breaking and randomly falling off or things snapping off. But it just would have been a lot cleaner for me if this maybe would have just been a solid piece of plastic and been painted just like the rest of this figure is. Like, this is the only thing that really kind of stands out that's just not quite as good as it probably should have been. But if you want to put this on him, all you do is open his hand, which, oh, his articulation. And then you stick the sword in there, close the hand, good to go. One thing that would have been great though is if it was a little bit more securely put in there, because it kind of just wobbles around in there. Even when you have the hand fully clenched, it still has a decent amount of wiggle room. So that's a little bit of a letdown for me. And then getting it out of here. For the actual Zord though, looks really good. A really nice recreation of it from the TV show. Not quite as bulky, but I really do like the slimmed down look that it has. It just looks amazing. And then bring him in for a closer look. Let's go. Turned out really nice. Really love the metallic red here for his ginormous bug eyes. Got his silver paint for the face mask. A little bit of black in here. And love the gold for his helmet covering here. Then coming around to the back, you'll see the faceplate here for the White Tiger Dinozord, which sadly we're not going to be getting anytime soon, if at all, because as of right now there isn't any known information that they're going to be releasing those guys. So what we have, I will be going over in a few with you guys, but it's still pretty cool that it's on the back here. And then for the body, seen a lot of this from the Tigerzord form, except you saw it with the body extended outward. But really love the compact look that it has, and again, just all the nice paint job just really conveys on this figure here. You can see a little bit more of the gold down here. Then for his arms, again, turned out really nice. Also, what I love too is on the bottom of the pads here, you see the White Tigerzord emblem and a little bit more of the molded details here with a little bit more of the crimson red here to help make the square, which looks amazing because on the original one, this is all just decals on here, and I just love, and I can't stress this, how much I love this molded detail in here. Just really helps to make the figure stand out a lot more. Oh, one thing you didn't really get to see in Tigerzord form is his detailed cut piece, I'm going to call this. Where you see the White Tigerzord emblem here, some more of the metallic red. So it's nice that they still added some of the details in down here. And then just show off the legs a little bit. Also look really good. A lot of molded details in there. Love the black on here too. And then on the back here, it even has more designs on it, which again just really helps to make this a nice, complete looking figure. It's not really any noticeable gapping, just pretty much here on the legs, but that's just a part of the transformation, so totally understand. And pretty much they're, detail-wise, especially in this form, just, again, nothing really to complain about. Except, I wish he had more articulation, because as it stands right now, the head has literally nothing. The arms can rotate all the way around. They have a bend right here at the elbow, which is nice. The original one also had that too. But what the original one didn't have is it didn't have any hand articulation. Like literally, if you wanted to bend the elbow, the hand had to be coming towards the side. So it's a nice improvement there, and also the hand can move in and out. And then you also have some rotation here for if you want to have them in more of a punching pose to kind of get that straight kind of shot look. Which you can also get that way too, but personally I just think it looks cooler like this. So it's cool that they also incorporated that, and that's mainly a part of the transformation too, but still sweet nonetheless. But nothing here at the waist, nothing here at the legs, and a little bend here at the knee. So again, the articulation is a little bit disappointing, but it's not really anything different than we got with any of the other Legacy lines. And again, it's akin to the old White Tigerzord figure, so it's still pretty sweet that even though with the lack of articulation, it still doesn't really notch the figure at all for me. But if they do decide to release the new Thunderzord figures, I would love to see an updated version of the Red Dragon Thunderzord, because that thing actually had a crazy amount of articulation here on the arms here and stuff. So it'd just be great to see that conveyed in a new figure. But as it stands right now, again, we're not going to be getting any Thunderzord figures anytime soon. And grabbing my old White Tiger Thunderzord just to give you guys a little bit of comparison. So now that we got the original White Tigerzord in the picture, he looks really nice standing next to him, with this being a more faithful recreation of what we got in the show, and then this being slightly off, especially with the ginormous shoulder pads and decals not quite matching up with the color scheme. And what's kind of neat too is that the newer version is actually slightly taller than the original if you just go by the helmets here. But with the shoulder pads, the overall bulkiness still makes this the much larger figure. But it's still cool that it matches up pretty well with each other. But again, would have been nice if we would have got a sound effect to go along with this guy just to really make this a much more outstanding figure than what we already got with it. So to me, this figure is pretty much a very superior product than what we got with the original one. It just, again, would have been nice to have the sound effect, but that's a minor inconvenience to everything else that this figure has going on. And here he is compared next to the Legacy Dino Megazord. And here he is compared next to the Legacy Dragonzord, which he actually stands a little bit taller than him, which is kind of weird to me. And here is the Legacy Titanus, which he sadly can't fit inside. And here is with the original Red Dragon Thunderzord in warrior form. Alright, so next I'm going to show you guys how to transform him into the White Tiger Dinozord, or at least that's what I'm going to call it, because it's a little bit confusing on one aspect of it, so I figure I'll just go over the entire thing with you guys. So what you're going to do is, not too complicated, is for the head, you just flip this part down, you lift up on the plate here to expose the visor here. And then for the legs, what you're going to want to do is there's this part here, which when you transform it, this is where the feet are for the Tigerzord. And what you're going to want to do is actually pop this entire thing out. Which to me, I thought there was actually going to be like a way of tucking in or something. Like, nope, this just comes straight off. And what's cool too is it shows you which foot this goes on. So this one will go on the right foot. So if you guys are going to have this guy displayed as the White Tiger Dinozord, just make sure you put these things in a safe spot, like back in the packaging, or just keep it with him at all times. Then you do the same thing for the other foot. Just pop it right out. Pretty simple stuff. And then you take the leg, yeah, pop it out, which is a bit of a pain on here because it kind of clips in right here. Lift up the arms a bit, fold them upward, do the same thing here, fold this side up. Sometimes it's a pain in the butt. There we go. And then that's how he's going to look as of right now. Then on the packaging, it just says that you need these two things from the Dinozord, which all you do is stick them in the pegs right here, just like you would on the normal Megazord. So that one goes there. That one goes there. And then once you get the legs on, the only other step that I forgot about is you have to fold the shoulder pads down. And then once you have them assembled, here it is White Tiger Dinozord, which looks kind of eh, personally, because, yep, flopping the faceplate down. It just really doesn't have too much eye appeal and really looks like it's missing quite a few pieces. But what's actually slightly neat about this figure is that if you have some of the other pieces, you can randomly attach some of the other parts to them, just like if you want. On these shoulder pads here, there's a couple little pegs here. So what you can do is stick the arms of the Megazord on here. Pull that down just a tad. Grab the other one. Stick that one in that peg hole. And then that actually gives him a little bit more mass to him. Looks a little weird, I know, he's just kind of got arms hanging up. And then what you can also do is that, if you really don't like this look, is his arms actually do pop off. This side's a bit of a pain though. Come on. There, that was a little tougher than I thought it was going to be. But it's the same peg joint, so you can just put the new one in if you really want to. Again, not really designed to really go along with this figure, but it's an option nonetheless. I just wanted to show you guys. And then right here, I guess there's another peg joint there too. So if you pop the hand off, there is even more added accessory. So if you wanted to put that there, you really can. Not gonna really do it because it's just kind of goofy. But overall, I still think it's a neat idea, especially it gives it some other purpose on your shelf other than being in the White Tigerzord form. No way I'm ever going to display it like this, but it's cool that at least Bandai thought of the process. And what's also kind of neat is that this kind of harkens back to one of the early prototypes, is that the White Tigerzord was actually, in some early photos, shown actually combining with the Dinozord. So it's kind of cool that it's also recreated here, and it's just a really awesome idea they had. Not good in practice, but still awesome. So overall with the White Tigerzord figure here, he is more phenomenal. Love the paint job on this figure, and the amount of detail on here is really impressive. Would have loved to have seen a little bit more articulation in the figure. Granted, it's still actually an improvement over the Dinozord and the Dragonzord, but still would be nice to see maybe even a little bit more articulation somewhere in the hip areas just to give his legs a little bit more range of motion. And what really seems missing to me is some kind of light up gimmick, because the original one had it and really would have upped the nostalgic factor of this figure a little bit to add that little gimmick to this. Especially, like, it's already pretty much set up to do it. Like, it just would have been sweet to actually have it. But even without that stuff, I still highly recommend this figure to anybody that loves Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and especially the White Ranger, then this figure is for you. So what do you guys think? Have you guys found the White Tigerzord? What's your favorite Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Zord? Or shapes just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. We'll post pictures of them on Facebook. If you want to click the link in the description below. Please dump your favorite series video around, and if you like this and want to see more stuff like this, please give us a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching.